Chess is a brutal, brutal sport, and no one will realize this much more than our world chess champion Gukesh, because round one of Norway chess was built up as the clash between world chess champion Gukesh and the greatest chess player of all time in Magnus Carlsen. For close to 45 moves, Gukesh playing with black and Carlsen playing with white, it was stalemate. You felt that yes, finally Gukesh had managed to ensure that he would stretch the great at this point in time. For 45 moves, everything was even. Magnus Carlsen at this point, he was the one who was defending. When he was actually playing with the white pieces, it was Gukesh who was continuously attacking and attacking and attacking. But on move number 46, Queen h6. The move that Gukesh made when he tried to corner Carlsen's king, that resulted in an epic blunder. And from move number 46, Gukesh was then playing catch up. He then had to ensure that his king was in a safer position. The pieces were equal. Let us make no mistake about the pieces that Carlsen had, the pieces that Gukesh had, they were equal. But then a tactical blunder from Gukesh, and you just know one mistake, and Carlsen is so quick enough to pounce on it that he managed to turn the tables around. Gukesh then had to defend the king with all his might, but on move number 55, when he had nowhere to go, the queen was controlling, the white queen of Carlsen was controlling one file, the rook was controlling one file, and because of that, in Norway chess first round, Gukesh has unfortunately lost. And it continues his prolonged slump that he's seeing ever since he became the world chess champion. I mean, I had mentioned earlier in the build up why this tournament is so important for Gukesh. Because after Tata Steel Chess, Vaikanzi, in which he managed to lose it in the tiebreakers, Weizenhaus and Paris Freestyle were absolute nightmares. Now, alarm bells started to ring when he did not do well in the Superbet Classic in Romania, because looking at it, he had only one win against Levon Aronian. But apart from that, he didn't have any other win against the top opponents. So that's why this loss will hurt Gukesh, because it is not that rare when you force Magnus Carlsen, the greatest chess player of all time, to be on a rather defensive position. But the move that will be a crucial blunder for Gukesh, and you'll have to really look up into it because there is not much of a turnaround time. Queen h6. Actually, in that position, if he had just held back Gukesh, the over-eagerness to attack, that cost him in a big, big way. So yes, Gukesh, the world chess champion, has lost in the first round against Magnus Carlsen. But there is great news, because when you look at Arjun Erigaisi, he's managed to beat Wei Yi. And Arjun's form ever since his slump in the Tata Steel Chess Tournament has actually been great. So Arjun Erigaisi, at this point in time, he had a wonderful run in the Paris Freestyle, was one of the few Indians to make it into the playoffs, but unfortunately he didn't count at that time as well. And Superbet Classic, if you look at the Indian participation and you look at how the Indians performed, Pragnananda has actually had a glorious 2025. Arjun has been hit and miss, but for Gukesh, it's been a steady, steady downward spiral for him, because you had to ensure that you sent out a statement of intent and shut the critics up that yes, Gukesh is not an accidental world champion. But now those critics will keep on growing, growing, and growing. Because remember, let's make one thing clear here. If Magnus Carlsen was there in the world championship cycle, no opponent would have ever come close to beating him. But now he's not playing a world championship chess, he's bored of classical chess, and that is why others have the chance. But now it is not happening. And that is why now Gukesh will really have to step up against his Indian comrade in the second round that's going to happen tomorrow. It is going to be Arjun Erigaisi versus Gukesh in round number 2. And one hopes that Gukesh can really make it, because now Carlsen has got the edge. The likes of Hikaru Nakamura and Fabiano Caruana, at the time of doing this, Hikaru Nakamura was actually winning against Fabiano Caruana. So that's why it is a really, really big issue that you're facing at this point when it comes to Gukesh. So, at this point in time, it's really important to know that Gukesh, the critics are only going to grow stronger and stronger. So, not a good start for the world chess champion in Norway chess. Let's look at it. Magnus still got it, and once again, he pros, who's the final boss of Chess Cool Pineapple, is saying, Magnus, what can I say? Greatest of all time for a reason. And Tushar Muskara, Gukesh needs to pounce up. He always messes up, whether it's an advantage or a draw. After the Olympiad, I've seen a dip in his game even in the World Cup. Arjun is the one I count on to beat Magnus now. Tough. Very, very difficult. Because this is a format that Carlsen, you may say classical chess he doesn't play. But man oh man, Carlsen is simply a beast in any format that he plays in. So it's always sad to Kushnava Naha saying it's always sad to see Gukesh blundering in the time pressure. Though the end game was very difficult, but you expect from a world champion to save that kind of position. Hope he will come back, but yeah, in the eagerness to attack, Gukesh was too proactive. And today it was not actually time pressure. When you look at it, he had that queen at 6 move and he left his king totally vulnerable to the white queen. And that is why it's not good enough. Satvik Goel. Hey Siddha, thanks for covering chess news. Always my pleasure, Satvik. Anytime, any tournament that is there major which involves our Indian competitors, we at Sports Today will be covering that on a consistent basis. Cool Pineapple, and Magnus is still playing that he isn't motivated to play classical. I think the rules this time for Norway chess are pretty different, Cool Pineapple. I'll tell you why. Because there are no draws in Norway chess. If the game is in a stalemate position, you play an Armageddon. And in Armageddon, if you are white, you get 10 minutes, black gets 7 minutes. But in the Armageddon, white has to win. Black, if it draws, then black is declared the winner. And if you win, you don't get 1 point, you get 3 points for a win here. So that's why it is the thing. So Tushar Maskara, Armageddon is great in this tournament, more interesting. I do agree. Armageddon is one of the best instances that is there at this point in time. So Kiran Khatri, I will only read your comment once you stop becoming a troll. As simple as that. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this morning update. And if you look at it, it is morning. It's 12 a.m. But this is how Norway chess is going to happen. 8:30 p.m. on most days, the match will begin in India. And since it's classical, could stretch on for 4-5 hours. And that's why Arjun versus Gukesh, that will be the key match tomorrow. Let's see how that goes. But the major question is, who can stop Magnus Carlsen? So bye-bye, folks. See you soon.